We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football. Excuse me, my voice is gone. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and your friends if you want to support this college football's rebel outpost for sickos. Hit the $sign where you make a comment, and I'll get you a super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome into the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to be a legend with your comments in the chat room and with your phone calls. And those phone calls are going to start very soon. We're going to open up the lines before the selection show. We're going to open up the lines after the college football playoff selection show. Because you've heard enough from me. Let me give you my thoughts, and then we're going to open up the lines. John Teal, if Oregon and Arizona State were still in the pack, only one would go to the playoffs and be the fourth seed. SMU wouldn't have a sniff, and even with the L, Texas is back. That's a pretty, that's a pretty good comment early in the morning, John. There's lots of truth to that. Thank you for the super chat, John. I do appreciate it so very much. Thank you for your generosity once again. There's a lot of truth to that. Now, excuse me. My voice will come back. My voice will come back. There's a couple things here. I think we're going to learn. I could be wrong. There's a couple things I think we're going to learn. One, if you are in a conference championship game, and previously the week before you are rated, you are ranked as a team to go to the playoffs, if you play a competitive conference championship game, you are not going to get punished. In other words, I don't think Texas is going to get punished. I don't think Penn State is going to get punished. I don't think SMU is going to get punished. And Iowa State was not ranked right before the week before. Number one, that's important. I think that is going to be established today. I think what's going to be established is if you have 2 losses and there is one bad loss and then there's a team that's really good, ranked high, you can still make the playoffs depending on what's going around you. If you have 2 losses against unranked opponents, you are in dire shape. If you have 2 losses to unranked opponents, you are in trouble. You can still squeak in. But you are in trouble. I think that is going to be established today. I also think what's going to be established today, if you lose to 2 unranked opponents who were favored over you by a combined total of 36.5 points, and you have another loss on top of that, Alabama, you're not getting in unless there's complete and total carnage, which we were close to having. So, again, let me show you my final predictions. I had this all set up. If you go to the timestamp on this, 2 seconds after Clemson hit the 56-yard field goal. And by the way, congratulations to PATC family member Bo Weevil and all the Clemson Tiger fans. Clemson is in the playoffs. 2 seconds after that field goal went through, I posted the following. On X. This is my prediction. Oregon number 1, which I think there is a consensus there, obviously. Georgia number 2. Boise State number 3. They did nothing wrong. Arizona State looked fantastic. But I think the Sun Devils are going to come up short. Number 5, Texas. Now, a lot of people have Texas 6. A lot of people had Texas 7. Last night, I did not have Texas number 5. People in the chat room were saying Texas should be 5. I said, no, I thought about it. Now, they didn't have big wins against teams in their conference, but they smashed Michigan, and their 2 losses to Georgia, and I think they passed the eye test. Oh, no, Greg, not your eye test again. You have to use the eye test. It has to be one of the lanes. And again, Texas lost in overtime. They're not going to punish Texas. By the way, this is not punishing Texas. They lost. They do not get a first round bye. Texas number 5. Penn State. Now, this is where it all gets... if you have Notre Dame number 6, I'm not going to... If you have Ohio State above Penn State, 6, 7, and 8 to me are almost a complete mess. But again, the Buckeyes lost to Michigan. Penn State does not have a bad loss. I don't think they're going to punish them against Oregon. Penn State was ahead of the Buckeyes before the conference championship games. So if my theory holds, I think the Nittany Lions are going to sit at 6. Remember, they were a little bit ahead of Notre Dame. If you get blown out, absolutely blown out, and we saw some of those championship games, then I think they're going to punish you a little bit. So I think Penn State, for weeks, I thought this was a lock. Now this has become the weakest one. Penn State at number 6 is the one that I'm doubting myself the most, but I think they're going to keep them at 6. Notre Dame 7. The Buckeyes 8, and a lot of people have the Buckeyes at 7 or 6. But again, they lost to Michigan. They have another loss. Notre Dame has one brutal loss. And then they have played fantastic the rest of the season. Tennessee, Indiana. I would have Clemson at 11. They just beat SMU. And you guys know my reasoning of SMU over Alabama, over, everybody else. So this is the first round games, in my opinion. SMU versus Texas. Clemson, Penn State. Indiana, Notre Dame. Tennessee, Ohio State. Those are my predictions. And I think Friday night's game is going to be Tennessee, Ohio State. Saturday night's game is going to be Indiana, Notre Dame. I think the early game on Saturday is going to be Clemson and Penn State. And the middle game is going to be SMU versus Texas. That is my prediction. Let me know how wrong I got it once again. Heather Dinich has Penn State projected as 5. Texas at 6. I don't know how I don't think that is I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know why that would happen. Why would Penn State be rated ahead of Texas? But we're going to find out. I probably, Larry the Jim, Penn State 5. I don't know where this is going. Texas was rated ahead of Penn State. And they both lost their championship game. I know Penn State lost to the number 1. Texas lost to the number, 5? But Penn State, Texas was, I know, okay, let's get to it, Expedition Greg. Let's get to it, then we're going to open up the phone lines here. Barry Odom is going to Purdue. Ross Dellinger, Purdue is targeting UNLV's Barry Odom to be the next head coach. Barry Odom was on our Purdue hot board, along with Chuck Martin, Tyson Helton. We did not have Barry Odom on the West Virginia coaching board because we were told, even though Barry Odom and Ren Baker have a relationship, Barry Odom was not on the list. But they were on Purdue's list. Purdue made the decision. UNLV's Barry Odom going to be the new head coach. Tim Albine, Ohio Bobcats, again, congratulations. The first MAC championship since 1968, the Ohio Bobcats. Their head coach, going to be the new head coach of Charlotte. And then Isaac Wilson entering the transfer portal. Utah quarterback Isaac Wilson, former 4-star recruit, entering the portal. Okay, we're going to get to your phone calls right now. We got 15 minutes. 15 minutes until we get to the selection show. The line is now open, 763-260-1333. Try to keep your comments about coaching, searches, and the selection show. Try to keep your comments in those two subjects. Texas has no top 25 wins. I get it. Neither does Indiana. Kenny Dillingham is about to get an extension. Congratulations to Antoine Coates. Texas is not going out. I look, okay, guys. And now I'm gonna get in real trouble with you all. This is what I want. This is what I wanted forever. I want this. I want a 12-team playoffs. I want 3 tiers of motivation. I want you to, if you're a top 5 rated conference champion, you get an automatic berth. The top 4 conference champions, you get a bye. I want a committee. I don't want a computer. I get it. It's not perfect. I get it. But this is what I actually want. And it sounds like I'm the only person who's gotten what they wanted. Now, of course, if Alabama is in here and SMU's out, I'm going to go nuclear. I'm absolutely going to go nuclear. Okay, Greg, you win. SMU's in. Morning PATC sickos, please make it sense. Okay, look, smash that like button, number 1. Smash the like button. Number 2, the phone lines are open. Give us a call. Thank you, John Teal, once again, for your generosity, John. Again, give us a call. My voice is God. You can't just go by strength of record, strength of schedule. You can't just go by your biggest wins or your losses. A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. And then we're still going to disagree, but a little bit of everything. Alabama is 3-1 against teams, and they've got a strength of record, whatever. Well, Alabama lost to 2 teams that are not ranked. They got blown out against it. They got absolutely ragdolled by Oklahoma. And then that's another thing. You're not in control of like what team is going to fall out of the top 25, what team's going to sneak in. And later the GM, when Texas played Michigan, they were top 25. Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M. Yep, we covered that. NE, breaking news. Isaac Wilson.
Call from
Larry the GM.
Larry the GM, Mr. Longhorn. You've got, what do you got? Texas 6, right?
I got Texas 6, Greg. I think people are going to look at Georgia. Texas lost the one team this year, Greg. They lost to the same team twice.
Yeah.
And that Georgia team's a lot better than I think some people think. They've had their moments where they're bad, but I think Georgia being seeded 2 is actually right. I think that's a really good team, really good defensive team. I'm not sure how they're going to do without Beck.
Yes.
But
I don't know how Penn State jumps Texas. Texas was ahead of Penn. Texas was ahead of Penn State.
I think Texas losing the way they lost last night. I mean, they didn't get the ball into the end zone when they could in the first half. They didn't, they let a backup quarterback for Georgia, lead Georgia to victory. I think that's going to count against them. I think it's really, really close, Greg.
Yeah.
And honestly, Greg, I want the 6th seed. Give me the 6th seed, because that way I get to play.
Oh, that's your angle. That is your angle. You want to play Boise State.
I'd rather play Boise State.
I knew this was not altruistic. Not from Larry the GM. Holy smokes.
I don't want to play Oregon, and I don't want to play Georgia.
There's always an angle. Always an angle with Larry the GM. Holy smokes. I don't know. I have tried to look on if there's anybody out there who agreed with me on all my rankings, and I found one person, that is Brett McMurphy of Action Network. He has the exact same ranking as I do, but everybody else, there is a lot of different combinations out there.
Yeah, there's people putting Ohio State as high as 5.
Yeah, I can't see that. I cannot. A lot of people are having Arizona State ahead of Boise State. So
yeah, and that's all possible. But Greg, I think you laid it out. What you said, the reason you're putting Penn State and Texas, 5, 6, 6, 5, whichever way it is, I think your logic for that is correct. The committee said they're not going to hammer teams that go to the conference championship game and lose.
Well, lose competitively.
You lose competitively, right?
Yeah,
and that's the other thing. Like, SMU was out at halftime. I think, because you and I had a conversation. How many points can SMU lose by and get knocked out? If they lose by more than that, and you said 10, and that was my exact number, and they were losing by 17, right?
Yeah.
So, but they, to their credit, they came back. Greg, if SMU comes to Austin, that
yeah.
If the NCAA doesn't set that up, they're missing out, Greg.
Yeah.
That will be a. I don't know if it's going to be a great game, but the hype coming up to that game will be intense.
Yes. I think that first round matchups there. I got it on the screen. Indiana, Notre Dame, SMU, Texas, Clemson, Penn State. It all kind of works. But we'll see.
So that's the other kind of debate is, does SMU get 11 or does SMU get 12?
Well, I think you got to put Clemson ahead of SMU.
Yeah, okay, but then if you follow the logic, then you're kind of penalizing SMU for losing their conference championship game, and they did so competitively. Right?
But they were so they were coming in at number 9. They were a little bit ahead of Indiana, right?
But they were significantly ahead of Clemson, right?
Sure. But you got to punish them from losing to Clemson, because that's a head-to-head.
Well, Greg, ask yourself this: does Clemson jump all those? Do you think Clemson jumps Alabama and South Carolina, all those other teams?
Well, they won them, but they won the conference. You got to have them in.
I know.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Forget the seeding for a minute.
I see what you're saying.
If you put the poll, if you do the 1 through 25, are they ahead of all those other teams?
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it, and I should have.
SMU has to be, right? Or SMU's not in, right? So SMU drops to 11 or 12, then the only way Clemson gets 11 is for them to be 11.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't think that
now you got me 11. Questioning. Now you got me questioning my back end here.
And I heard that on another podcast.
Yeah,
and I thought it was a really good point.
It could be. It could be SMU. Boy, I don't know. I don't know. Now I don't know. Thanks for wrecking my rankings, Larry the GM, with logic. Thanks for destroying something that I thought finally I got right this year.
Well, but Greg, I'm nitpicking, and Greg, we're talking about 11 and 12.
Yeah, well, that's
Thank
important.
God, we can talk about 11 and 12 and not 4 and 5 and 6, right?
Yeah. Well,
Because 4, 5, and 6,
5, 6, 7, and 8. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Yeah, it's close. We're nitpicking. You have to.
Right. Well, put 5, 6, 7, 8. You put them in whatever order, and I don't know that anybody can really complain that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you put Texas at 8. I'm not gonna be that upset. So, you know, I don't think I think your logic is perfect for that. But Greg, you know, I that's what I heard about SMU and Clemson, and I think that's right. I don't think Clemson is going to jump all the way to 11 in the bowl.
Okay.
And so, therefore, they're 12.
Clemson's 12. Okay. Well, that could be.
All right, buddy. Well, I know somebody else is going to want to.
You got it.
But
great phone call.
Thank you so much, Greg. Thanks for everything you do.
Yep. Appreciate it. I think I screwed up. And it's too late for me to change. We could end this live stream, pretend I did not screw up, come back with a new live stream, but that's not going to happen. Now I'm thinking Clemson's going to be 12. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not going to be close at all anyways. John Teal, I'm not saying they're best, but people better be careful what for they ask for. Arizona State style play will work on the moon or on the ocean floor. Hard nose. Holy smokes. Oh my God. John Teal, he is in the Sun Devils camp right now. He believes they can make a run. Thank you for the super chat, John. I appreciate it so very much. Helmer Henderson, Arizona State should be seated ahead of Boise State. Better strength of schedule. Penn State did well. Sure, better strength of schedule. Yeah. Their biggest win of the year was last night. Boise State, I think, is helped by having UNLV in the Mountain Western Conference game because UNLV was ranked going into that game, number 20th, and they had beaten a couple of Big 12 teams. One of those Big 12 teams were beating that top-ranked Big 12 teams during the season 3 weeks in a row. I think all of that is going to help Boise State. But a lot of people have Arizona State ahead of Boise State. I'm gonna keep Boise State ahead of Arizona State. I don't think there was 5 spots between Boise State and Arizona State, and I don't think they're gonna punish Boise State for what they did in the championship game, which is why I am. Well, anyways. Thank you for the super chat, Helmer Henderson. Thank you so much. A lot of people agree with Mr. Henderson. Jim Bagley. Bama will make it over SMU. Might not be fair, but it will happen. The SEC trumps the ACC. Jim Bagley, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so very much for your generosity. If that happens, I'm going nuclear. So, buckle up, brace for impact. I don't think it's going to happen. Is the SEC better than the ACC? Yes. SMU making the playoffs and Bama not making the playoffs, does that change that? No. No, it doesn't. But this is a Bama versus SMU. It's a Bama versus South Carolina. It's a Bama versus Ole Miss. Bama lost to 2 opponents that they were a combined 36.5-point favorites over. And one of those opponents, they lost by 21 points. And they did not score a touchdown. And Bama doesn't have 2 losses. They have 3 losses. I do not see Bama in the playoffs. But Jim, if you are correct, I will tip the hat. No question about it. And I'll also go nuclear. John Teal, how about Arizona State? Boise State get 3 and 4 and Clemson get number 5. Clemson ain't getting 5. 3 losses, one of them not being a good one. No, Clemson is going to be, well, I had them at 11. But now Larry the GM has convinced me that they may be 12. They're not going to be number 5. You don't put Clemson ahead of Notre Dame. You don't put Clemson ahead of Texas. You don't put Clemson ahead of Penn State. In my humble opinion. Thank you, John Teal, for the super chat. Thank you so very much, guys. I appreciate it. Phone lines are open. Well, the selection show is starting, so let's turn off the phones. Let's turn off the phones. But after the selection, after the official selection, after the rankings, we are going to open up the phone lines. We are going to open up the phone lines. Immaculate says it's starting. Rod Nick says here it comes. Expedition Greg, here we go. Clemson beat SMU. Clemson will be either 11 or 12. I got them 11. What does Greg go nuclear look like? Oh, I've done it before. Kerry Gold knows if SMU doesn't get in when Bama was sitting at home, not playing in the conference champ, it will be a huge white-collar crime. It is. I've had, good friends, SEC people tell me that the SEC is about to go nuclear. Well, okay then. Either one of us is going nuclear. Bama is out, Jared Jones. Thank you for the super chat, Kerry Gold knows, for your generosity once again, Mr. Seminole. I do appreciate it. Appreciate it so very much. Either way, a whole lot of people are going to be upset. Yep. Stephen Vitt lost our coach. But we will always cherish the MAC title 2024 MBM. Here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Right after the selections, right after the final brackets are released, I'm going to give you my short opinion, and then we are going to open up the phone lines. So get ready. Get ready. Brett McMurphy says Bama is out. I think he's correct. Guys. There is no way. Well, I shouldn't say that. It ain't happening. You cannot. Give us the bracket. Come on. Brett McMurphy, as Daniel Montcastle pointed out, SMU is in the playoff. Bama is out. Sources told Action Network. And by the way, now I'm just guessing here. This is just a guess, but people are being told where they're going in the bowl games right now. People are being told where they're going. So that Alabama-Illinois game or whatever, somebody at Alabama knows and probably leaked it, or somebody. That's what things are happening right now. Phone calls, people are being found out where they're going. Something leaked. And I think it's tied into the bowl situation. Gene Calderon, let's go. Bama will smoke Illinois at the Pop-Tart Bowl. Brandon Marcello confirms Bama is out. Thank you, Expedition Greg. Thank you, Daniel Montcastle. I think it's a bowl leakage. It's a bowl leakage. Take that how you want it. A bowl leakage. Gophers beat Illinois this year. My beloved Golden Gophers. Sounds like we're going to be playing Virginia Tech or Lewis's Duke Blue Devils. Bring on the Hokies, bring on the Blue Devils. Bring both of them on at the same time. Let's go. Florida, Michigan. It sounds like that's going to happen, Mr. Moss. Sounds like it's going to happen. Well, that's a mess. Kish 95. I've got Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame. I've got that order. I've got the same order, 95, but the chances are I'm going to be 0-4. I'm going to be 0-4. Again, when they finally release the final bracket, I'm going to give you my thoughts, but we're going to go straight to the phone line. Please call in. My voice is shot. And because we did 3 watch parties, I couldn't even do the last night watch party because I had to take care of my mother, family obligations. Probably a good thing I didn't. You guys are all sick and tired of listening to my theories and all this stuff. I want to hear what you guys got to say. I want to hear what you're excited about in the first round of the playoffs. How it all sets up. Who cares what I think? My goodness, did you see my record this year? Unbelievable. There's not going to be Greg the Gold next year. I've got a new character lined up for next year that's going to bring me victory. But it's not going to be Greg the Gold. This guy was an absolute fraud. Absolute fraud. Loser. Greg the Gold was a loser. Yeah, that guy's gone. That guy was horrible. I don't think Minnesota's going to the Music City Bowl. Ryan Brooks. Yeah. Rest in peace, Greg the Gold. The Golden Sombrero. That's about it. There's going to be a new character. I've already got him figured out. We're going to have new artwork. It's not going to be Greg the winner. No. It's not going to be that. It's going to be a little bit more bodacious than that. It's going to be a little bit more bold than that. Let's go. I think Minnesota's going to the Mayo Bowl. Let me check. Let me check if there's any more steam on this. Yeah, here we go, guys. Here we go. Alabama and Illinois in a bowl game. I think so. I think it's the Citrus Bowl. SMU definitely in. Yes, the new character is definitely going to have a theme jam. And it's an iconic theme jam, an iconic one. Ryan Brooks pushing back on the idea that the SEC should go to 9 conference games. Michael thought Bama was going to get in. Put the key losses up there, ESPN. Put the key losses up there. They're doing it again. They're doing it again. All of that matters. Resume comparison, all of that matters. All of it does. But there's other things that matter, and you never put them up on the board. God, I got to tell you, ESPN, you are consistent. You are very consistent. Limited. Absolutely limited. My goodness. Wow. And no shame. And it's in the criteria. It's listed in the criteria. It does that Oklahoma loss. They never talk about it. They never talk about it. It's gone. It doesn't exist. Hey, do you know what? You know what, guys? Ohio State lost to Michigan. That is not helping Ohio State out in these rankings. It's why they probably will be ranked 8th or 7th. That loss is not helping the Buckeyes at all. But yet an Oklahoma loss by 21 points. And it doesn't affect Bama at all for some people. For ESPN, they won't mention it. It is the most bizarre thing. It is one of the most bizarre. Okay, let's go here. Come on, let's get it on. Let's get it on. I want to open up the phone lines. I want to hear what you guys got to say after the rankings are released. Indiana. It sounds like Indiana's going to be number 10. The Hoosiers are probably itching to play Notre Dame, right? Right? Mr. Tungate, Mr. Montcastle, the Hoosiers going to the playoffs. An epic season. A monster season. Congratulations to the Bulldogs, to the Oregon Ducks. Last night, conference champions. Montcastle, Mr. Hoosier. Mr. Hoosier himself, the original Daniel Montcastle. Montcastle, the Hoosier fan who's been rooting the Indiana Hoosiers on for all those years while they were losing football games, he wants the Irish. Mr. Montcastle wants the fighting Irish. Indiana in the South Bend. Again, if my picks are not going to be correct, but if they were correct, but they're not going to be, but if they were, you would have to put that Indiana Notre Dame game on Saturday night or Friday night. I've heard this slot's going to be Friday night, but who knows? But whatever. And that SMU Texas game, I don't know, guys. It's we shall see. We shall see. I don't want to think about first round games that are not even official. So let's get to it. Yes, Ohio versus Jacksonville State is an intriguing football game. Bragging rights between Conference USA and the MAC. It should be noted that the top 4 Big Ten teams all played only 4 road conference games this season. That does rotate. If you play 4 road this season, you're going to play 5 road in the next season. Yep. Illini Ted. Is Illini Ted saying this morning or this early afternoon, is Illini Ted chanting, I want Bama. We want Bama. We want Bama. We want Bama. Is that what Illinois, a fighting Illini Ted is saying? Illinois, Alabama in the Citrus Bowl. I think that might have been leaked. Could have been leaked. It could have been leaked. The real MVP 24 says Alabama has a better resume than SMU. Yes, we've covered that. McMurphy's reporting that Barry Odom. Congratulations to Purdue. Barry Odom. We had him on the Purdue's hot board along with Chuck Martin and Tyson Helton. Barry Odom going to Purdue. I think the decisions on West Virginia, North Carolina is going to be made real soon. At West Virginia, first of all, North Carolina, John Sumrall, Bill Belichick, Matt Campbell. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go again. Terry, Himmelacious, Connotacious, Sacrilegious, Nord. Bama NFL prospects won't play a non-playoff bowl game. Same with many others. Oh, I don't know, Terry Nord. I don't know about that. Max Brosmere is playing for the Gophers. And he's projected to be a 7th-round draft pick, Terry Nord. Yes, the Gophers are going to have their starting quarterback, Max Brosmere, in the Mayo Bowl. Let's do it. Let's go. Come on. John Till, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so very much. Oregon is number 1. No surprise there. No surprise there. Yes, that's true, Ryan Brooks. That is very true. We are dodging. We're trying to get our 6th bowl victory in a row. Number 2 is Georgia. Not a surprise. It matches the PATC projections. Number 3, we should believe, should be Boise State. Number 3. Well, they're doing the conference champions comparisons. I believe it's going to be Boise State. We shall see. The Big 12 fans, Arizona State fans. But regardless, the Big 12 champion is going to get a first-round bye because SMU went down last night. Come on now. Come on. Come on. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Number 3. Number 3. Boise State. Again, I think we're going to start seeing there's not going to be much movement from the previous ranking. Number 4 should be Arizona State. Boise State, man. What a season. The Mountain West Conference champion is getting a first-round bye, and they're getting the 3rd seed. Holy smokes. Now, Arizona State should round this out. Yes, it happened. The Sun Devils. First-round bye, the Sun Devils. Again, they have been playing fantastic in the second half of the season. They've got it. They got a first-round bye. Now, who are they going to play? They're going to play 5 versus 12. Who's 5? Who's 12? Number 5, I think, should be Texas. Number 5 should be Texas, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to punish Texas at all. Overtime loss to Georgia. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Clemson is number 12. Clemson is 12. So Larry, the GM, was absolutely correct. I had them as number 11. But it makes sense. What Larry, the GM, said in a phone call made too much sense. I knew I was in trouble with my prediction. Clemson is number 12. Wow. The ACC champion, number 12. And I think that's the right call. I think that is the right call. Absolutely. Texas, number 5. Again, I think that's the right call. I don't see how you can punish them. It's too bad we're not getting a Texas SMU first round game. But Texas and Clemson, woo! Woo-hoo-hoo! Woo! Number 8, I've got the Buckeyes, and I've got Tennessee in this game. I've got the Buckeyes and Tennessee. We shall see. You're the only 10 I see. Tennessee. Who is going to get the home game in the 8-9 spot? Penn State, number 6. Again, if you compete, if you are in a competitive conference championship game, they're not going to punish you. Penn State remains ahead of the Buckeyes. A lot of Buckeye fans are going to be upset, but I agree. I agree with what the committee has done. Expedition Greg does not agree. Again, they lost to Michigan. Penn State does not have that type of loss. And the conference championship game is considered a half a loss if you play competitively. Notre Dame is number 7. Again, I agree with all of this. I think the committee is nailing this thing. No, you cannot disregard the head-to-head, especially on the road. But again, they had a different record. The Buckeyes lost 2, Penn State lost 1, the Buckeyes lost to Michigan, and you're not going to punish Penn State for that second loss. You're not going to do it. That is why they've got Penn State ahead. They're protecting the conference championship game, guys. They're protecting the value of the conference championship games. Number 8, Ohio State. And I've said this a few days ago. Watch the Buckeyes-Tennessee game be played December 20th, Friday night. It's not official. It's what I was told. I let you guys know about it 4 or 5 days ago. Buckeyes Friday night at home at the Shoe. We'll see if it happens. I'm going to be in the minority here, guys. I'm going to be in the minority. I think the committee absolutely nailed it. I think they nailed it. You've got a Bean, Northern home games. Yes, you got a home game at Texas, a home game at Ohio State, Home game at Penn State, a home game at Notre Dame. We've got northern games. Tennessee at Ohio State at the Shoe. Now, hopefully we find out when this game is going to be played. Again, we believe it's Friday night. Notre Dame and Indiana, make it happen. Notre Dame and Indiana, make it happen. Notre Dame and Indiana, make it happen. But I can see SMU. I mean, that's tight. That is absolutely, remember, SMU was rated ahead of Indiana before last night. And they're not punishing the losers of the conference championship games. So it could be number 10 SMU versus Notre Dame. It could be. It could be. But then you got Indiana, Penn State, Big Ten matchup. I would still have Indiana number 10. But let's see. I think the Sugar Bowl, Georgia, the Rose Bowl, Oregon, the Fiesta Bowl, Boise State, Indiana at South Bend. Indiana at South Bend. Woo! Oh boy. Oh boy. And that is SMU at Penn State. My goodness. Wow. Wow. Woo! Indiana is going to give the Fighting Irish everything they want and more. Oh, yeah. Wow, what an atmosphere. Daniel Montcastle, Mr. Hoosier, the original. He said earlier in the chat room, he wants Notre Dame. Well, he's going to get Notre Dame. Everybody who's been ripping on the Hoosiers, look out. Look out, buckle up, brace for impact. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Tennessee, Ohio State, Indiana, Notre Dame, Clemson, Texas. Boy, oh boy. SMU number 11. So SMU 11 and Clemson 12 is the only thing I got wrong on my prediction, but I agree with the committee. And Larry the GM talked me off the ledge. He said this is correct. I agree with them. But I also said Texas should be number 5. Ladies and gentlemen, the committee nailed this. Absolutely. We're going to go, in my opinion, let me know how wrong I got it. The phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. Here it is. I'm going to put it up on the board. There it is on your screen. There is your first college football playoff 12-team field. Number 1, Oregon. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Boise State. Number 4, Arizona State. All get a first round bye. Clemson, Texas. In Texas. Tennessee, Ohio State. At Columbus. SMU, Penn State. at Happy Valley, Indiana, Notre Dame, at South Bend. The phone lines are open. Give me a call. My voice is gone. 763-260-1333. Don't be shy. Step up. Let me know how excited you are. Florida man is absolutely shocked. Well, I think they got it right. SMU is in. Would you rather be Texas or Oregon? I'd rather be Texas. See, John, I have to say the seating looks good. Well done, CFP committee. Richard, Penn State has a ninth path. Stephen Vitt, the committee got it right. Ron, good job, the committee. Holy smokes. People are agreeing with me. My goodness, Thomas Moss portal's going to be crazy. The Greg Sankey tantrum is going to begin here soon. I had Clemson. I had the same thing. John Boxleitner, same thing. But I understand the logic. I get it. Clemson 12, SMU 11. Either way, I'm good with it. Immaculate absolutely nailed it. Terry Kane, no AC school in the top 4. You can't have Clemson in the top 4. Mr. Hurricane. You can't have Clemson in the top 4. They're the ACC champ. I don't think you can have them in the top 4. I mean, they got the 12th seed. The 12th seed. Okay, that Oklahoma game did matter. Yes, it did. Kerry Gold knows. I think the committee learned from last year what not to do. Gold knows. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Seminole. Kerry Gold knows. Bama. Come on, Saban. He still gets a check from Alabama, so there was no way that Boise was going to be denied a bye. Absolutely. There's no way, guys. You were not going to do that to Boise State. Boise State lost to Oregon by 3 points at Oregon. Oregon is undefeated. Oregon's the number 1 team in the country. Boise State defeated UNLV twice. UNLV defeated Big 12 teams that defeated the top of the Big 12. Congratulations to Clemson. Congratulations to Arizona State. Unbelievable season. But Boise State was going to get a bye. After all this carnage, Boise State deserves the bye. In my opinion, but let me know how wrong I am. Give me a call, 763-260-1333. This whole scheduling thing. Should we schedule more harder opponents, easier opponents, this and that? Well, don't lose to Oklahoma by 24-3 when you've already lost to Vanderbilt. Now, Vanderbilt was a good 6-6 team, or it's not a bad loss. It's not a good loss. But you lost to Oklahoma 24-3. And by the way, you have another loss in the loss column.
Call from
Immaculate.
Mr. Hawkeye, thanks for calling, sir. The floor is entirely yours.
That was, I would say that was a bit hair-raising, but unfortunately we did kind of get leaked the results on that beforehand.
Yeah.
But it was quite a statement, nonetheless. You may disagree, and maybe everyone disagrees with me, but to me that was an absolute resounding statement from people in power that they are not going to devalue conference championship games.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
for most people, they might just be getting down to the comparison of the two, and you can do that. Everyone wants to talk about Alabama's wins, but Alabama's losses matter too, just as much as the wins.
Yes. Yeah.
But to me, I think we've seen enough from the CFP that if it was just about who they're getting in, they would have found an argument for Alabama. They would have found it. But in the end, to me, what they absolutely did not want to do was devalue those conference championship games. And that was going to happen. If SMU did not get in, because of where they put SMU in ranking before this game,
correct. Yes.
You were going to have calls across the board to not participate in those games.
Yes.
So, to me, that's the big takeaway from this whole thing. And it seemed like even ESPN was building up for it, the way they held on to it at the end and made, the big theatrical presentation of it. This was about saying conference championship games and possibly not surrounding apparatus around them in the future. If that's going to happen, we've talked about this, you've talked about it. If that's going to happen, the last thing they're going to want to do is devalue it right before they present that. How do you present that in a year or two after then making a statement with the CFP that, those don't really matter? People are going to be like, that doesn't make sense. So, to me, that was the story. I just wanted to call in and kind of share that and see your thoughts on that. This is the first time we've had this. It's kind of a guessing game to figure it out. But, I kind of hit the Clemson one there at the rank 16. I just couldn't put them past South Carolina. That's what it came down to. I know.
Okay. No, you had the right. I got that one wrong, but I agree with you, and I agree with Larry the Jam. That makes sense. It makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's hard because there's two different rankings, right? There's the ranking of the seasonal results, and then there's the seeding ranking.
Yes.
So, by when I'm saying Clemson deserved to be 16th, I put them one spot ahead of Army.
Yeah.
So that got them the spot because it really didn't matter where they were ranked at that point in time. They were going to be the lowest ranked conference champion.
You are correct. And it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. Yeah. And I don't know if we're going to get much. I'm assuming. I shouldn't assume, but I'm assuming the Clemson people are fine with this. But we'll see.
I mean, I don't really see how they have much argument against it. The problem is they're not showing the whole ranking, so people might be confused as to why they're only 16th.
Yeah.
But my guess is that they have South Carolina still at 15.
Yeah.
And so they capped out.
Yeah. Your second team, your Arizona State Sun Devils.
Yeah.
Now they're going to be, let's see here. Now Georgia's going to be in the Sugar. Boise's going to be in the Fiesta. Oregon's going to be in the Rose. So what is the fourth bowl again? Is it the, let me know in the chat room. What is the fourth bowl? Is it?
I'm not very good at that. I don't know.
If anybody knows what the fourth bowl is for the quarterfinals this year, I know it's the Sugar.
I think Larry's right.
What does he say?
I think it's the Peach.
Yeah. He's right. Arizona State's going to go to the Peach Bowl because what happens is Oregon gets the first selection. They're going Rose. Georgia is going Sugar. Boise State's going Fiesta. Arizona State gets, they get what's left over, Peach Bowl. Arizona State going to the Peach Bowl. Woo! Against Texas.
Which I think they're going to love.
Huh?
I think they're going to love it because Coach Dillingham, which is something else I want to talk about real quick before we go.
Yeah.
But Coach Dillingham is all about getting seen. They have shirts and everything out, Texas to Tempe. They are recruiting the crap out of Texas. But another place that I'm pretty sure that he's going to want to be seen and be able to kind of start to reach into in the future as they grow that brand is Florida. So to have that moment to kind of be showcased there locally, to have you guys there, to have potential local recruits come and talk to you while you're there all week, he's going to take advantage of that. You might see next year some recruits from Florida lining up for Arizona State. And in news that just came out this morning, the Arizona State AD said that they want to sign Kenny Dillingham as their head coach for life. That's probably they're entering into contract talks, and I don't know where exactly to put this at, Greg, but people need to understand that they moved the athletic department into the university. It's no longer separate.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, you might see Kenny Dillingham get a pay that's actually maybe equivalent to what you're seeing at top guys at other places. And if that happens, I think they're going to blow people's mind as to the future and actually what's possible at certain locations, where I think people thought that the Big 12 and certain schools there were only ever going to be on like a tier below in terms of payments or whatnot. This might set a different tone for people. So keep an eye on it. Maybe he only gets 6 to 7. Maybe he's at the 8, 9, or even 10 mark. We'll see.
Wow. All right, man. I appreciate it. Anything else?
Absolutely, buddy. No, the only other little thing I'm looking forward to doing comparisons is to see where Cade McNamara ends up as a. But that's not really news right now. That's just me and my own little pettiness.
Yeah. All right, sir. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Nick Saban on ESPN. If we don't take strength of schedule into consideration, they did. But that can't be the only driving force, Saint Nick. Nick Saban on ESPN. If we don't take strength of schedule into consideration, is there any benefit to scheduling really good teams in the future? Here at Alabama, we're supposed to play Notre Dame, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Florida State in the future outside the league. That's not the problem. You lost to Oklahoma by 21. You lost to Vanderbilt in Nashville for the first time since 1976. I tell you what, I would get fired if I was employed by ESPN and I was interviewing Nick Saban, because I would ask him those questions. Jeez. My goodness. Sorry, I completely... Phone lines are open. Phone line is open. 763-260-1333. And I'm not saying you cannot survive a bad loss. You can. A bad loss by 21, it gets a little bit more difficult. A bad loss by 21, when you lost to a 6-6 team, it gets a little bit more difficult. A bad loss by 21 and another loss to a 6-6 team, when you have a third loss, gets really, really difficult and eliminates pretty much everybody else unless your name is Bama. That's the problem with Bama this year. Congratulations to the strength of schedule. Congrats. But you played like horse manure. Horse manure! At times. I don't care what the conference records are. Larry the GM, I just... Alabama absolutely blew... Alabama... Yeah, I just said. Ryan Brooks. One bad loss doesn't eliminate you. It doesn't. Not in the 12-team playoffs. It does not eliminate you. But a bad loss You lost to Vanderbilt, and you have a third loss. You didn't make it to your SEC championship game. Again, I asked Nick Saban. I asked you, Nick Saban, what team do you take out if you're putting Alabama in? What team do you take out? Bob Thompson brings up a great question on next. Which games do you think will go to TNT for that first round? Well, I don't know. I got Clemson versus Texas as an SMU versus Penn State. Yeah, you're going to keep Notre Dame. You're going to keep Notre Dame. And you're going to keep Ohio State on ESPN. I agree with you. Oh, Tennessee and Ohio State is Saturday night. What is the Friday night game? Notre Dame got the Friday night game. Oh, boy. PATC takes the L. PATC takes the L. Notre Dame and Indiana is Friday night. Boy, again, Ohio State doesn't play on a Friday night. Woo! Woo! My goodness. Illinois and Alabama have played one time, 1982. Notre Dame is getting flexed upon. Texas, Clemson, TNT. That's terrible. I have a Christmas party on Friday night. Our demands for matches. David Griffin, Notre Dame and Indiana, that's going to get 1 billion views. 1 billion, not a million, billion views. Oh my goodness. Woo, boy. Phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. Let's make it official. PATC takes the L. Takes the L. Ohio State will get the marquee home night game after all, but it's a Saturday, not the Friday. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Call from
Replica.
Replica, the floor is yours. What do you think, my man? What do you think about this?
I'm shocked that they actually made this decision, and we've seen it so many times throughout the history of the CFP of smaller brands being shafted on Selection Sunday. Even going back to the first year when TCU won that last game 55-3, just annihilate. I believe it was Iowa State. Did not get to play in the conference championship game because the Big 12 didn't have one at that point, and we saw them get left out. We've seen Penn State get left out as a 2-loss Big Ten champion.
Yeah.
We've seen Georgia and Oklahoma get left out in various years, and I'm surprised that they actually came to this decision, but I believe it was about protecting the conference championships because for each conference, those contracts are in place for an extended period of time, and I don't think they're prepared for, the cost to get rid of a conference championship game just because somebody lost. So I think that's why they let SMU in. I'm absolutely shocked. They turned down a lot of money, not putting Alabama in the field, but I think it's reasonable. I won't say it's fair, right? Because you can make arguments on both sides. You know, SMU didn't be the top 25 team all year, and Alabama beat 3, but then Alabama lost to 2 6-loss teams. I was more surprised that there was no real conversation for the other 3-loss SEC teams or BYU. I think BYU has been shafted so hard throughout this process. The fact that nobody would even have the conversation about them being a potential playoff team should send a message to everybody in Provo that they need to make some changes. From what I've heard from BYU fans, Kalani has a tendency to not want to run the score up on people out of respect. He's going to have to change that philosophy. I'm sorry. Hold on just a second. My dog's growling at me. Sorry about that.
No problem.
They're gonna have to adjust the way they approach these games because they don't have that level of respect amongst the national media, and that's not something they're gonna be able to gain in just one good year. So we'll see how they adjust to that. I'm surprised Boise was 3. I still don't understand why they're being treated like a power conference school. They have ranked wins, but it's against UNLV. And when you look at the schedule they played, it's not even comparable to anybody else in the field, and they're getting a bye, which is kind of ridiculous. But I think all this is going to cause force change to the format for next year. I don't know if you actually got to watch the selection show, but Kirk Herbstreit brought up the idea of uniform scheduling, which to me was a hint towards the rumored scheduling agreement between the Big and SEC. He didn't explain it in the way that it's been proposed by certain pundits and people in the know, but that conversation was brought up. So it'll be interesting to see the fallout.
Well, I think the one inflection point of the possible fallout is the automatic qualifier question. If the Big Ten and the SEC agree on the amount of automatic qualifiers they get and the amount of automatic qualifiers the ACC and the Big 12 get, then that is going to change everything dramatically. And then the only discussions is going to be about seeding. And at large, a couple at large bids will still be available. But I think that is the main talking point is, are we going to do more automatic qualifiers per conference or not? And then that's going to lead to other conversations.
Yeah, I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
Because make no mistake about it, Sankey he's probably furious right now, but he has other problems. It seems like nobody in the SEC likes him. I don't know if you heard Kirby.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. Well, Sankey's he has a prickly personality, right? My goodness. He's a smart dude, but my goodness,
he reminds me of the Grinch, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it's interesting. These matchups will be very, very entertaining to watch. I'm probably most eager to see Notre Dame and Indiana.
Oh yeah.
I'd imagine there's some kind of rivalry there. I don't know much about those two having a history of playing each other, but that's going to be a massive game in state. My aunt-in-law is actually from Indianapolis, so they're big Hoosier fans. So
okay,
interesting. As far as the game yesterday, we just didn't play well enough to win. Everybody and their mothers throwing Quinn under the bus. I thought he played very well. Neither one of the interceptions he had was his fault. The first one, you have Bond running up the field like it's the Canadian Football League, and then he just gave up on the out.
Yeah, Isaiah Bond had some problems last night.
Yeah, and then the other one, it was just a one-on-one rep, and the right tackle got pushed into the back of his lap. We had too many drops, penalties. Just as I've been saying all year, we still can't run the ball. I think people kind of got fooled by Wiseman's performance against A&M and Kentucky, but we have no push up front whatsoever. And to be honest, this team shouldn't be competing for a national championship.
We talked about that at the beginning of the season. I was doubting Texas' running game. But you know, and I agree with you on Quinn Ewers, but he is nicked up. That is my biggest issue. I'm a little worried because the Clemson front line, man.
They're good.
Quinn Ewers is going to have to move around a bit. He's got a couple more weeks, get a little bit more healthier.
Yeah, I just feel like changing quarterbacks won't solve the other issues. It's like knowing the trash needs to be taken out, and you just spraying air freshener instead of taking out the trash. Like you're not actually solving the issue. Like we still can't pick up stunts. We can't run the ball. But it is what it is. I don't think we deserve to be in the playoffs. Just if we're going off the standards that's being held by everybody else. But
Texas deserves. They've passed the eye test, in my opinion, big time. You guys, man,
yeah.
You guys tackle. You guys play. You got Quinn Ewers, you got Golden, you've got guys, man. You've got that tight end who's made a bunch of plays. Texas, I just think Quinn Ewers got to get a little healthier, but you guys are definitely squarely deserve to be in the playoffs.
Well, I appreciate the words, and I hope we can get things cleaned up.
Yeah.
I'm not really feeling good about our title hopes, but it feels good to be in the field. Year one in the SEC was a success for the most part. But we'll have to see how things go. I think there's going to be a lot of changes to the format, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen as far as the transfer portal, because I see a couple of guys from playoff teams opting out. Some of those guys were players who may have lost playing time over the course of the year, but with everything that's about to happen over the next couple of weeks, I'm interested to see how that's going to affect things.
Yeah, I think these guys, I think the guys who are going to go in the portal are the guys who are not playing from these playoff teams. But I think for the most part, everyone's going to play these games. They're going to get paid. I believe they're going to get paid. So,
yeah, my concern is as far as, because next year the roster size is going down to 105. So you're going to see a lot of these schools in the Big Ten, the SEC, and even in other power conferences who have a lot of players on their roster. They're going to have to let some of these guys go. And Matt Rule has kind of spoken to this as well, as far as them having to make tough decisions. So when the roster and limits get down to 105, I think maybe they'll come to agreement to bump it up to 110 as a compromise. But once the rosters get reduced, how is that going to affect teams when they don't have as much depth, but you have kids who are trying to make the best opportunity for themselves in a limited amount of time? But I don't think it's any major outsides, but still interesting.
All right. Anything else, sir?
No, that'll be all for me.
All right. Replica, congratulations. Longhorns in the playoffs. Buckle up. Brace for impact. Clemson coming to Austin. Woo! Thanks for the call, my man.
Dabo's he's got the underdog card. He's gonna be pulling the Roy Bus card, the little old Clemson card. So we're gonna have to be ready to play.
Yeah. All right, sir. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Beautiful. Here are the times for the games. December 20th, Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Indiana, number 10 seeded Indiana at South Bend, Notre Dame. Wow. SMU, Saturday, 12 Eastern, SMU at Penn State. Clemson at Texas, 4 o'clock Eastern. Tennessee at Ohio State, 8 o'clock Eastern. My goodness, the first round of the college football playoffs. It sounds like the SMU, Penn State, Clemson, Texas are on TNT. Indiana at Notre Dame and Tennessee at Ohio State are going to be on ABC, ESPN. That's what it sounds like. I could be wrong, but it looks like that is where it's all going. We are going to close it up for today. I want to thank everybody who's joined us for the selection show. I do very much appreciate it. We might have to come on later today because we're going to have breaking news all over the place when it comes to coaches, when it comes to bowl games. So we're probably going to have to come on live again later today. So if you are new to the channel or if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, have your notifications turned on. And I appreciate everybody coming on in. I think low-key, I think SMU can take Penn State. John Teal, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Steven. I do appreciate it so very much. I did get to the super chat, John Teal. Thank you so very much. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.